go. Let's do it.
You're growing up playing soccer, you want to be a professional. Did you ever think that it would bring you over to the East Coast, or you're like, I'll kind of go anywhere?
No, honestly, it was kind of one of those things where I grew up in Southern California, and when I was a kid, I was a Galaxy fan. I was a ball boy there a couple times and stuff like that. I mean, I didn't know. I just wanted to turn pro. I went to Berkeley, and then I graduated. I got drafted to DC. I was just super excited to turn pro at that point. Flew out here, and the first time I was here was in January, and it was just freezing. I never owned a winter coat. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing here, searching for apartments and stuff like that, and in the snow and taking the metro around. It was crazy. It was definitely a culture shock. I didn't envision it, but it's been great.
Single dude for what, year and a half in DC? And
Probably 2 years in DC or something like that. And I saw this girl, I'm like, oh my God, she's beautiful. I wrote to her and I was like, hey, we have all these mutual friends. Can't believe we've never met. I would love to take you out for a drink. Question came up, she's like, oh, how old are you? I was like, I'm like 24 or whatever. Little did I know, she's 9 years older than me. She met me out, and basically we had another awesome time, and I was basically like, yeah, okay, now you're my girlfriend. And we've been together ever since. She knew nothing about soccer, which was awesome. And I was like, no, I play soccer. And she's like, okay, so what else do you do for a living? I was like, no, that's my job, I play professional soccer. And she still didn't really understand it, I think, because she had never been to a DC United game, whatever. And she didn't understand until she came to a game. It was like, oh, okay, this is legit. My lease was up and her lease was up, and it was kind of the point where we had to make a decision. She's like, all right, we're moving into DC. We're gonna do Logan Circle downtown. I'm like, I was a little nervous because I was a little DC's a little daunting moving into a city or whatever. And it was the best decision we ever made. Being in the city together and starting a life together in downtown DC in Logan Circle, our favorite area in DC. It was amazing, and it was just a great experience, and really got to understand what DC is like a little bit more. I rode my bike around everywhere, and went to all the restaurants on 14th, and it's been great. We moved in pretty quickly after we met. I want to say it was 6 or 7 months after we met, yeah. And Logan Circle is kind of where we fell in love. It's an important area to us, so when the time was right, I was super nervous, but literally right behind us, one day I set up a picnic, had champagne and some cheese and crackers and stuff, and I was super nervous. And yeah, I asked her to marry me here, so I proposed literally in Logan Circle, and then had our family and friends waiting at our favorite restaurant, which is literally around the corner, Le Diplomat, for after. So I asked one of her friends, he was a photographer, and it was actually pretty open. It was early afternoon, and I kind of saw him sneaking around from tree to tree and didn't want her to notice him. And so I was shifting my body to make sure that she didn't see him, or that I had the box in my pocket, I'm sure I looked like a fool doing it, I was sweating bullets. And then I asked her, and of course in the middle of summer. So we had a great time though, and our dog at the time, Ham, was there, and it was just it was a really special moment for us. I think I caught her by surprise that day. I don't think that she was expecting it at all. She always said oh, okay, if I'm gonna, if you're gonna ask me to get married, I need my nails to be done. And I was like, all right. So I don't know, it was a week before, I was like, hey, have your friend, you might want to go get your nails done. It's a very important area to us. It's really when I started to connect with the city more so than when I lived in Arlington. We still live a stone's throw from DC. We loved the area, and we love having our kids grow up here. We bring them down to the mall all the time, and when we get days off, we'll bring them down and shop around on 14th Street and be like, oh, that's where mommy and daddy used to live, whatever. She still doesn't understand it, but hopefully one day she'll be like, oh, my parents were cool, they lived in, in Logan Circle, and, kind of lived that city life for a bit.